Peace. Welcome to a new episode of Forever Flowers. Today on Forever Flowers, we're going to be talking about a child star, a bright star, a star who was sharing the screen with some heavy hitters, a star who was on 2 major childhood networks and was making movies and was making music and was doing it all. Miss Keep a Job. Yes, that's right. We're talking about Keke Palmer. Now, as you know, Keke Palmer has been in the media for a hot minute because of the movie Nope with Jordan Peele. And I will talk about how I feel about Nope later. All I want to say is that she did a phenomenal job, and it is now one of my favorite movies. And I just want her to get all her flowers. So today we're going to be talking about Keke Palmer. Lauren Keke Palmer, born August 26, 1993, is an American actress, singer, and television personality. Known for playing leading and character roles in comedic drama productions, she has received a Primetime Emmy Award, 5 NAACP Image Awards, and nominations for a Daytime Emmy Award and a Screen Actors Guild Award. She was included on Time Magazine's list of most influential people in the world in 2019. Palmer made her acting debut in Barbershop 2: Back in Business. She later appeared in a television film, The Wool Cap, and had her breakthrough starring in the drama film Akeelah and the Bee. She released her debut studio album, So Uncool, in 2007. She proceeded as a prominent child actress with roles in Medea's Family Reunion, Jump In, The Long Shots, and Shrink. Palmer received recognition for her roles on Nickelodeon, such as portraying the title character in the sitcom True Jackson VP, providing the voice of Aisha in the Nickelodeon revival of The Winx Club, and headlining a television film Rags. Palmer made her transition to mature roles with the VH1 biography film Crazy Sexy Cool: The TLC Story, and later starred in the thriller film Animal, the comedy horror series Scream Queens, the drama series Berlin Station, the slasher series Scream, the true crime film Hustlers, and a starring role in Jordan Peele's Nope. Since So Uncool, Palmer has released 3 extended plays: Lauren, Virgo Tendencies Part 1, and Virgo Tendencies Part 2. She hosted the talk show Just Keke, co-hosted the talk show Strahan, Sarah, and Keke, the latter earning her a Daytime Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Entertainment Talk Show Host. So yes, we know Keke Palmer, okay? She is that girl. All right. I've loved Keke Palmer since when I first watched Akeelah and the Bee, and I've been following her career ever since, and I've just really been rooting for her, okay? I've been rooting for her like heavy, because I see a star when I see a star, and I knew she had all the potential in the world to just take over, and she has. And a lot of people are saying that Nope is her breakout role, and that might be true in the more mainstream white sphere, but in the black household, she's been a household name since forever. And we just truly love her for the way that she has just been able to come out and really, really, really just be a force in the entertainment industry. So we love you, Keke, we do. And today we're gonna give you your flowers because you have done a lot in your career, girl, and no one's gonna stop you now because you are a star, baby. So Lauren Palmer was born on August 26, 1993 in Harvey, Illinois, and raised in the nearby Robbins, Illinois. She grew up in a Catholic household. Her parents, Sharon and Lawrence Larry Palmer, who met in drama school, had both worked as professional actors before settling into full-time jobs. Her father works for a polyurethane company, and her mother is a high school teacher who works with autistic children. Her father also volunteers as a Catholic deacon. The nickname Keke is not a shortening of Kiana, According to Palmer, her name came about because her older sister had an imaginary friend named Keke before she was born. Palmer first sang in a church but earned exposure performing at a stage show at a Chicago tourist destination. In 2002, Palmer auditioned for a stage production of The Lion King at age 9. In 2004, she gained her first film role in Barbershop 2: Back in Business, in which she played the niece of rapper and actress Queen Latifah. In 2005, Palmer signed a recording deal with Atlantic Records. That same year, she was featured in the television film Knights of the South Bronx, as well as starring in the television series Second Time Around and ER. That same year, producer Ralph Farquaad, we love him, helped Palmer book the starring role in a Disney Channel pilot called Keke and Jamal, which we will be talking about later. The pilot was not picked up and never aired. In 2006, Palmer had her acting breakthrough starring in the film Akeelah and the Bee, playing the titular Akeelah, a bright 11-year-old who comes from a poor neighborhood and competes in the script's National Spelling Bee. Gloria McDonald of the Seattle Times wrote that Palmer makes an appealing heroine. For the role, she won a Black Reel Award and an NAACP Image Award. She also had a supporting role in the 2006 film Medea's Family Reunion. The following year, Palmer appeared in the thriller Cleaner. She portrayed a lead role in the television film Jump In. Palmer also starred in 2 television programs, Tyler Perry's House of Pain and Just Jordan. Palmer released her debut album, So Uncool, on September 18, 2007. The album charted at number 86 on the U.S. Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop Albums chart. In 2008, Palmer began her starring role as the title character in Nickelodeon sitcom True Jackson VP. Palmer also wrote and performed the theme song for the series. Palmer earned $20,000 per episode of True Jackson VP, which made her the 4th highest paid child star on television. Hey! In July 2009, designer Jane Siskin created a Walmart fashion line inspired by True Jackson VP, with all the designers being approved by Palmer. She also played the lead role in the 2008 film The Long Shots. True Jackson VP ended in 2011. Palmer debuted as the voice of Aisha in the Nickelodeon's revival of The Winx Club. She received an NAACP Image Award nomination for her voiceover work. In 2012, Palmer starred in the film Joyful Noise, released in January 2012. She produced and starred in Rags, a television musical film, as well as voiced Peaches in Ice Age Continental Drift. In July 2012, Palmer released the single You Got Me featuring Kevin McCall. The video for the single was released on July 11, 2012. She released self-titled mixtape Keke Palmer on October 1st, 2012. In 2013, Palmer portrayed Rosanda Chili Thomas in the TLC biopic Crazy Sexy Cool: The TLC Story, which aired in October on VH1. She next starred in the horror film Animal. It was released on June 17th, 2014. She then reoccurred during the second season of Showtime's drama series Masters of Sex, portraying Coral, a nanny. That same year, Palmer hosted a daytime talk show on BET titled Just Keke. In doing so, she became one of the youngest talk show hosts in television history. The show itself has been regarded as groundbreaking and refreshing. In September 2014, Palmer became the first African American to star as the title character in the musical Cinderella on Broadway. She performed her final show during the closing night of the show's run on January 4th, 2015. Later that year, Palmer announced that she had signed with Island Records. Between September 2015 and December 2016, she starred as Zayday Williams in the horror comedy series Scream Queens, created by Ryan Murphy. In January 2016, Palmer starred as Marty Maraschino in the television special Grease Live. Rolling Stone's Brittany Spanos regarded Palmer's performance as a standout and highlighted her assertiveness, confidence, and biting sense of humor. In June, Palmer released Waiting to Exhale, an album she wrote during her time on True Jackson VP that went unreleased due to label issues and her anxiety-driven hesitation. On November 4th, Palmer released her second extended play, titled Lauren, with a 17-minute short film of the same name being released exclusively on Billboard's website. In 2017, Palmer released her memoir, I Don't Belong to You, Quiet the Noise, and Find Your Voice. That same year, she joined the drama series Berlin Station during its second season. In April 2019, Palmer began co-hosting ABC's daytime talk show, Strahan and Sarah, sporadically filling in for co-host Michael Strahan, and more regularly beginning in June during co-host Sarah Haynes' maternity leave. She joined the slasher television series Scream as a series regular in the third season, portraying a character named Kyam Johnson, which premiered on July 8th, 2019. On August 26th, Palmer became a third permanent co-host of Strahan and Sarah, which was then retitled Strahan, Sarah, and Keke. In September, Palmer starred as a love-struck stripper in the crime drama film Hustlers, directed by Laureen Scavaria. She sang the song Giants as part of a virtual group named True Damage, in which she voices a character named Cena in the video game League of Legends for the 2019 World Championship. The song features singers Becky G and Soyeon, as well as rappers Duckworth and Thutmose as the other group members. In November, True Damage performed the song live during the opening ceremony of the finals. Strahan, Sarah, and Keke ended unexpectedly in March 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic ended live studio programming through the industry, and ABC decided to shift the time slot towards news. Palmer later received a Daytime Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Entertainment Talk Show Host alongside Haynes and Strahan. That same year, Palmer began starring in a web television comedy series titled Turned Up with the Taylors, in which she portrays all the characters. She released an extended play titled Virgo Tendencies Part 1 on August 28th. On August 30th, Palmer hosted the 2020 MTV Music Awards, during which she also performed her song Snack. She released a follow-up EP, Virgo Tendencies Part 2, in December 2020. The following year, Palmer won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Actress in a Short Film or Drama Series for her performance in Turned Up with the Taylors. In 2022, Palmer starred in Alice, directed by Kristen Verlinden, which had its world premiere at the 2022 Sundance Film Festival. She also served as a narrator on Not So Pretty, a documentary investigating the beauty industry, directed by Curb Dick and Amy Zering on HBO Max. Palmer voiced the character of Izzy Hawthorne in the Pixar animated film Lightyear, a spin-off of the Toy Story film series, and starred as Emerald Haywood in Nope, directed by Jordan Peele. Palmer works for the Boys and Girls Clubs of America charity Cool to Be Smart program, speaking to children about the importance of learning. She is also a supporter of urban farming and the Girl Scouts. She has worked with such charities as the YMCA and with Saving Our Daughters. As of 2010, Palmer has been a representative for the Saving Our Daughters Project, an anti-bullying campaign. Palmer was included in the Times 100 Next list in November 2019, which spotlights 100 rising stars who are shaping the future of business, entertainment, sports, politics, science, health, and more. She is a support of the Black Lives Matter movement. In 2020, she marched in Hollywood, California as part of the George Floyd protests. That same year, she addressed the movement during her opening monologue at the 2020 MTV Music Awards. Palmer's first studio album, So Uncool, was heavily influenced by contemporary R&B, being described as bright, bouncy, and melodic, enough to appeal to teens and preteens. Fans of the dancing teen pop will want to give this auspicious debut a listen. Palmer was heavily influenced by American R&B singers Ciara, Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, Mariah Carey, Aaliyah, Brandy, Mary J. Blige, Whitney Houston, as well as girl group TLC. Among her urban influences, Palmer also cites pop artists Gwen Stefani and Avril Lavigne as influences. Following the release of her single I Don't Belong to You on October 25th, 2015, Palmer explained, "I don't belong to anyone else but myself. I have to make my own decisions. Happiness is defined by me. My sexuality is defined by me, and that can change, and this can change, and I can make it what I want to make it because I'm the one who makes that choice. So that's why I Don't Belong to You is saying, this song feels right. It feels right, and it's telling who I am, and it captures my identity." She has also said that she does not want her sexuality defined by labels, and said that people should be fluid and labeling themselves as their identity can change. Palmer has struggled with anxiety and depression. In 2019, as part of the You Know Me campaign, she shared via Twitter she had an abortion. On December 1st, 2020, Palmer announced that she had been dealing with polycystic ovary syndrome her entire life. So yeah, that's just a rundown of Miss Keke Palmer and her illustrious career since 2006. And she's just so incredible. We love this girl with our whole hearts because she just brings it on screen, on stage, with her music, everything, her hostings. We love it. We love this girl. She is just too incredible for words. So, in advance, sorry if you can hear somebody vacuuming outside. My maintenance man is vacuuming the outside of my apartment, so sorry in advance. But anyways, hopefully you can hear this. So let's kind of have a rundown of some of Keke's most notable roles, okay? So we have 2004, which was Barbershop 2 Back in Business, and she played Gina's niece. So something that's going to be a reoccurring thing is that Keke Palmer and Queen Latifah are somehow related in a lot of movies, right? And it makes sense because they just feel like family. They just feel like family in my head. Like, if I wanted somebody to be somebody's mom, it would be Queen Latifah to be Keke's mom. It would be Queen Latifah to be Keke's aunt. It would be Queen Latifah to be Keke's somebody. Because they just fit so well together. And we all know the iconic scene in Barbershop 2 when Gina's niece, Keke's character, goes up to Cedric the Entertainer's character and basically tells him off because he was not doing the hot dogs right? And then, obviously Gina had to come over and school him and tell it like it is. Love it. Love it so much. And then you have 2006, which is Akeelah and the Bee. And Akeelah and the Bee is iconic, okay? It really is, okay? I was 14 when that movie came out. My parents wanted me to see that movie. They were really excited about it. The movie really was something that a lot of Black people were really inspired by, truly. Because it was a movie about a young girl who came from, not so great of circumstances and was able to really put her mind into something positive. And that was the spelling bees. And as somebody who grew up with dyslexia, I'm not the best speller in the world. I will never say that. But just watching this movie, watching this little Black girl, this dark-skinned Black girl doing really incredible things in this role and just being incredible. She's working alongside heavy hitters like Angela Bassett, Lawrence Fishburne. It's her first real starring role in a movie, and it's so positive, right? To this day, I go back and watch that movie, and it's still just so inspiring. You know what I mean? It's just a really inspiring movie, and the fact that she gets all the way to the end, to the Scripps National Spelling Bee, and wins, or at least ties with that Asian kid, is super amazing. Super amazing. And it's just super inspiring how she uplifted her community and wanted to do something positive and was just so really smart. And that's the thing, people want to say that black women specifically and black girls are not smart and all they care about are their hair and their features and their nails and all these things, and they're so, wrapped up in celebrities and all that. But that's not always the case. There's a lot of really smart black girls out there, and they're not given the potential. They're not given the chance to live up to the potential because of their circumstances and because the world just looks down on them. And this was a really good example of, you're not going to look down on me. I am smart. I am capable of doing this. And, it was easy for her to fall by the wayside and not want to do it and have all these issues and everything. But the way that Lawrence Fishburne's character really came to her aid was super special to me. And I also have to give an honorable mention to this movie because Lee Thompson-Young, who played the famous Jet Jackson, in that show, he was in the movie, and he's since passed away. But every time I watch that movie and I see him in it, I want to start crying because, he was a really important part of my childhood. And so just seeing him in that movie, interacting with Keke was super, super, super special. And the other brother that's in the movie, so there's this song called Runaway Love. It's Ludacris featuring Mary J. Blige, and it's a really heavy song about child abuse, about teen pregnancy, and about feeling not worthy, and all these things, right? And you just wanting to run away because life is just too hard for you. And so there's two brothers in Akeelah and the Bee. There's the famous Jet Jackson. There's Lee Thompson-Young's character, and he's in the military. And then there's the other brother who's out here, gangbanging and being crazy. And so the other brother who's gangbanging and being crazy, he's in the Runaway Love music video with Keke, and he basically gets her pregnant, and she's supposed to go have an abortion or something like that. Yeah, it was a whole thing, but it's really great. And Keke's acting is just powerful. And from that very moment that I saw Akeelah and the Bee, I knew she was going to be a star, and I knew she was going to go out and really just wow us. And I knew it, and I was just you're going to go out and do amazing things. And she did, and she continues to every day. So the next movie that she was in Medea's Family Reunion. Now, I can say up front that Madea movies are not my cup of tea. Let me not lie. Let me not act like they are the best cinematic masterpieces. They're not. And we know that. But there are a few of them that I will take consideration to and watch every so often, right? The first movie, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, I'll give that a pass, right? I'll give Medea's Family Reunion a pass, right? I'll even give Medea's Big Happy Family a pass, right? That's about it, though. Some of them movies are just way too off the chain, and I can't. But Medea's Family Reunion was a really good movie, I just have to say. And those first few Tyler Perry movies were. And the reason that it was a really good movie was it talked about a lot of things. But today we're going to be talking about the Keke part of it, obviously. But just know that the entire movie was really good. But basically, Keke's character is basically this, I guess she's a foster kid. And so basically she's a foster kid, and Madea is forced to take care of her because she's always getting in trouble with the law. And it's basically about the relationship between Madea and Nikki, and how Madea basically helps her get through school and helps her with all the bullies that are on the bus. And it's a whole thing, but it's really, really cute, and it's really funny. It's really sweet, and it's nice. And I appreciate her in this movie. And kind of like Barbershop 2, her role is very much needed as both comedic relief, but also as a little bit more serious. And yeah, did a great job of that movie. Then you have 2007's The Cleaner. Then you have 2008 Long Shot, which is her and Ice Cube. Yes, because that was during Ice Cube's whole 2000s renaissance of movies. So Long Shot was her and Ice Cube's her dad, and it's basically the story of a female black woman or black child, black kid, black girl, playing for in a town where there's never been a girl playing football before. And so basically Ice Cube is training his daughter to become this like football legend, and she becomes part of this team, and they basically like win all these things. And it's actually based on a true story, I think, and it's a really good movie. Highly recommend. Then you have Unstable Fables, Tortoise versus the Hare. Then you have 2009, which you have Shrink. And then you have Abducted, the Carolina White story. Then you have 2012, you have Ice Age Continental Drift. And then you have Joyful Noise. So Joyful Noise is one of my movies, okay? I love Joyful Noise. Me and my best friend, whenever she used to come up, because she actually doesn't live in the area anymore that I live in, and she used to live here. She lived here my whole life, but then she moved away. And so whenever she comes home, like whenever she comes here to visit her family, I would go over to her grandmother's house, and we would watch Joyful Noise together. And it was our movie, right? And so me and her love that movie. And A Joyful Noise is really good, okay? So like I said, Queen Latifah and Keke Palmer just go so well together, right? And in this movie, it's Keke Palmer, it's Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah is Keke Palmer's mom, and it stars Dolly Parton, and it's a good movie, okay? It's about this church choir, and basically the mom, Queen Latifah, being her husband being in the military, so he's never home. And then she also has this son who has Asperger's, and Keke is like this pent-up church girl who isn't allowed to do anything else with her life. Like, she is only allowed to go to church and school, and that's it, right? And she's a part of the choir. And so Dolly Parton's husband, who was the pastor, passes away, and so he was the choir director, and so they have to find a new choir director. So they end up making it Queen Latifah's character, and so Dolly Parton doesn't like that. But basically, Dolly Parton's nephew comes to live with Dolly Parton for a while. And so he has a crush on Keke's character. And so basically Keke is trying to like not be with him because she's not allowed, because her mom doesn't want her to be with anybody. And so basically they have this like not so secret relationship, right? And so it's basically, Queen Latifah's character coming to the terms of, it's the 21st century. We don't need to be making all of these kind of like square, kind of like old school church songs when we can make them kind of like new and, use pop songs in there. And it's just a really funny movie. It's heartfelt. It's cute. We love it. It's Keke at her finest. Her and Queen Latifah just work super well together. And yeah, they need to be in more movies together because honestly, they work so well together. And Queen Latifah and Dolly Parton in that movie, hilarious. Because, we love Dolly Parton as black people, okay? Dolly Parton is that girl. We like her. She's cool. She's on our side. So her and Queen Latifah arguing about church stuff and having fights in restaurants, hilarious. Love it. Comedy gold. The best. Love this movie. Plus the music is great. Keke has a voice on her. Obviously we know Queen Latifah can sing. Dolly Parton got it. It's a whole thing. I highly recommend it. Alright. Then you have The Winx Club, The Secret of the Lost Kingdom. And then you have 2013, you have The Winx Club 3D Magical Adventure. And then 2014, you have Animal and you have Imperial Dreams. And then in 2015, you have Brotherly Love. So Brotherly Love is a movie that was produced by Queen Latifah's production company, right? And so it basically stars Tia Mowry's husband, Corey Hardrick, and Keke Palmer, and Quincy Brown, Diddy's stepson. So anyways, so Brotherly Love is a movie about this family, and they have all these like issues going on. So they have the mom, played by Macy Gray, and she is basically sick. And I hate when they do, your mom is sick, when you know it's your mom on drugs. Your mom took too many drugs, or she's on drugs, or she's doing this, and she can't handle the family, right? So Corey Hardrick has to step up and be the man of the house. And so there's all this like street gang violence type stuff that's going on. And so basically Quincy's character lures Keke's character into a relationship with him, right? Real cute. But he's basically playing her because he is trying to get at Keke's brother, Corey Hardrick, because of some stuff that happened with one of his boys or his brother or whatever, and he's trying to get revenge and all this stuff. And then Keke ends up getting pregnant, and it's just like a whole mess. It's a good movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I'm just gonna say it right out here, out in the open. It's black. It's very black. So if you want to watch it, it's a very black movie. Just want you to know that. But it's a good movie. And yeah, I think that it has potential. It does. But it's very black. It's very black. Like Just Jordan, you know that show back in the day? Little JJ. Yeah, he's in it. It's a whole thing. Very black. That's all I can really say. I don't really know how else to really describe it. It's just like a very black movie. But anyways, continuing. 2016, Ice Age Collision Course. 2018, Pimp, which was a film that was independently released where Keke's a pimp, a female pimp. And I never watched it, but it's out there if you want to watch it. And I just brought that up because there was a certain point in Keke's career where she was doing some more like independent type movies / like TV movies, and y'all were not supporting her movies. And there's this video which I may or may not insert into here, but if I do, you'll see it. But she basically says something along the lines of, and it's like a TikTok video or whatever, but she says something along the lines of, because it's like somebody asking her a question like, Keke, why haven't we seen you? Why aren't you in more big blockbuster movies? And this is before, her renaissance she's going through right now. But it was like, why aren't you in more big blockbuster movies? And she's like, well, I put out these movies, and no one goes to see them. And so that's y'all fault, basically, and something. I'll put the clip.
Well, I guess I should be asking you that question, seeing as how I did 3 movies this year and you didn't see any of them. I guess because they all went to direct-to-TV. Yeah, well, that's because the movie I did years prior, you didn't go to see it in the theaters. Not you or any of your little friends. So it bombed, and I haven't gotten a big gig in a minute. So I should ask you how I'm supposed to book a job with that kind of loyalty.
But she was basically trying to call y'all out about the fact that y'all don't go support the movies that she's actually in. So how did you expect her to actually get any mainstream, stuff, like, or put out any movies that y'all gonna watch? Because y'all don't be supporting nothing that she puts out. So, and I was like, you saying exactly what needs to be said, because there, you told no lies. You told absolutely no lies. So, anyways. 2019 Hustlers came out. Have not seen that either. I know, but I just haven't seen it. So maybe one day, but who knows? 2020 2 Minutes of Fame. Alice came out. Okay. Alice came out. I did not see Alice until this year. I watched it literally like 3 nights ago, something like that. I was confused by this movie. I was excited about this movie when I first saw the trailers, because I was like, oh, okay, so this is about taking your power back and fighting against the slave master. I am here for that. So the first half of the movie is very much on the plantation, slave stuff. Okay, so if you're not into that, I totally get it. It's traumatizing. But the second half becomes her running away from the plantation, and basically she goes into this road, right? And literally the road is like 2 steps from the plantation, which at first I was confused. Okay, so you start out in the movie, it's a plantation, whatever. You think it's the 1800s, you think it's the 1700s, you're super confused. It's like pre-Emancipation Proclamation, there's still slaves, which is a myth, because there are still slaves to this day, and there were still technically chattel slavery until the 1960s. So the whole Emancipation Proclamation thing, yes, it was around, and yes, it gave some of us freedom, but not all of us, and that right there is a shame. But anyways, so basically, you know, the first part of it's on the plantation. You're assuming it's like the 1700s or the 1800s, right? So when she runs off into the street, which is 2 steps from the plantation, mind you, you're like, okay, this must be some kind of like vortex or whatever. She went from the 1700s and now it's 1973, so that's a vortex. She ends up meeting Common, and he's a trucker or whatever. So she meets Common, and he's like, yeah, it's 1973, and he just thinks that she bumped her head because she like fell on the ground when she almost gets hit by him. And so he's like, you must have bumped your head, you know, you just have amnesia or whatever. And she's like, nah, like, I'm a domestic from this plantation that this evil man kept us as, right? Like, I was like a bed warmer and all these things, like, hello. And so she like learns all these things about history and about, you know, Angela Davis and about, you know, Pam Grier, coffee, and like the whole 9 yards. She learns about Malcolm and Martin and emancipation and all these things, right? And she's like, yo, I am a free woman, right? She goes through a little coffee phase too, like, and then she has this part which should have gave it away, because I was confused for a hot second, and this part should have gave it away, but I don't know why I didn't like take into consideration that this is why. So in the beginning, when they're still on the plantation, there's this scene where the father is basically bringing his son home from school, and I was assuming that, you know, it's like, you know, the 1800s, so, you know, little white kids have the little like cute little schools, and they're like 1-room schoolhouses, right? And so that's why he's asking about school. And so I was like, okay, like, I guess. And so then they have this scene where Alice basically calls up the wife of the plantation owner, and she's like, we need to meet. And I was like, okay, like, I'm super confused. How is she here when that was back in the 1800s? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so she brings the lady to this diner, and she's basically telling her off, like, I'm not afraid of you no more. I know my worth. I know my power. I will mess you up, right? And the son is with the mom. And so the son is calling her Alice and like asking her to make him food and like all these things, right? And I'm just like, how does this work? Y'all. This plantation was here in 1973. Like, there was still a plantation on the land in Georgia in 1973. It wasn't this is a, you know, 1800s and she has like some time jump thing. No. There's no vortex. This is a whole plantation in 1973 that was there, that they tricked these black people into being on this plantation and basically did not tell them what the year was. I said, what? I was so confused. And then the ending happens, and then it all clicks. And I was like, oh, I thought there was a whole time jump, a time warp, something like that, some kind of magic. No, it was that there was a whole plantation there the whole entire time, and I was like, yo, wild. Anyways, do I recommend this movie? I partly do. So I've been looking up a lot of the reviews just on like YouTube and stuff, like the general public, and see how they thought about it. A lot of them were like, nah, this movie ain't it. And I was like, You know, it's not a good movie. Like, let's not get it twisted at all. But you got to give Keke some kind of credit for trying. You do. Because after 2020, and this movie came out during 2020, so, like, you know, I can't remember if it happened pre or post George Floyd, but there was this clip, which I may insert this clip as well. It was a really powerful clip and deserves to be in here. But there was basically a clip of Keke Palmer going off on the police and going off about Black Lives Matter. And I was just like, girl, yes. And she was really using her platform to really be out here talking about some real stuff.
Once the looting starts, the shooting starts. You have a president talking about the Second Amendment as a use for people to come out here and use firearms against the people that are protesting. This is the messages that we're seeing. I don't know if you on social media, because the news don't tell you everything. But you have to pay attention to what's going on, or else we have a president that's trying to incite a race war. And when the borders are closed, we can't leave. You have people in here that need your help. This is when you and y'all stand together with the community, with society, to stop the governmental oppression, period. We need you. So then march with us. March beside us. You get your people. Y'all march beside us. March beside us. March beside us. Let the revolution be televised. March beside us and show us that you're here for us. Make history with us, please. Let's just do it. March with us. We'll start marching. You march with us. Please.
Just do it.
Do it. Just to come on. Be the change. Be the change. Do it. Please do it. Please. We are good people. March with us.
Make you a deal. Because I can't leave this post, I will march through this street with you guys to that next intersection.
I don't know.
I will march from this intersection to that intersection, but I have to control this area.
Control. What are you controlling? What is it to control, man? March with us. It was send a huge message. We just march. Just march with us. March the whole round with us. March you and your men. Y'all protect us. Protect us. Y'all march with us. March around like we just did. Do that march with us. Y'all stand beside us. No, you don't, because you the protector. So if you can't patrol yourself. If it's you that's supposed to be patrolling us, then walk with us.
I'm also protecting some of these businesses.
Okay.
Okay. Well, can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Can you take a kneel? Can you take a kneel?
I don't know. They ain't enough for me.
Let me see.
They ain't enough for me.
Thank you. Let me see you take a kneel.
They ain't enough for me.
Let me see you take a kneel. Let me see you take a kneel. Thank you.
Let's all do it together. Let's all do it together. Come on. Everybody, let's all do it together.
You against George Floyd, take a kneel.
Let's all do it together.
Oh, y'all in the back, take a knee. Take a knee. If you standing up, we taking you with it. Come on, thank you.
I think, though the kneeling, it can be seen as a walk in the same direction, we all can also see that just moments after, in some of these cities where we've seen the kneeling, we've also seen the tear gassing and everything, the chaos afterwards. So I feel the reality is we have a president that with every tweet incites divisiveness. Some would even say a situation where our military has orders to unleash on its citizens. And so, obviously everybody has a choice to make in working for the government, whether you are a policeman or working with the National Guard or politics. I think I, as a citizen, want to know what side of history you're trying to be on. Like, is there a person in that uniform? I know there's a person in a uniform, and I want to know that the people that are in these powerful positions of saving or taking a life, I want to know they're with the citizens and committed to taking the stand against the system and the injustices. And if we are unified, no matter who you are, what you're wearing, then we can create change. Buildings can be rebuilt, but once lives are taken, they're gone.
And so I get why she wanted to do Alice. I think it could have been executed just a little bit better. But if you think that plantations did not exist up until the 1960s and probably to this day, you're very mistaken, because it very much was a real thing. And this was based on true events. And at first I was like, true events? What are you talking about? Like, I was super confused, because at first I thought it was a time warp thing. So I was like, how is this based on true events? Until I saw the ending, and then I was like, oh, I get it. And if you want to know more information about this family that was on a plantation up until I think it was the 60s. that was when they finally like got loose or whatever, because they were like sharecroppers or something, and they owed this stupid white family like money or something, and then they got stuck on this plantation and were just like tortured, and they never were able to get off until the 1960s when this lady ran away. And then just look it up on the internet, you'll find information about it. But yeah, it's wild. But yeah, that was a lot. But anyways, okay, and then you also have her as herself, an interview clip on the Jennifer Lopez halftime thing they had on Netflix. And then you have Lightyear, which I have not seen yet, but I do plan to watch on Disney Plus. So I'll let you know how I think about it. And then you have Nope, and her as Emerald M. Haywood, which I love Nope. Nope is so good. Like, if you have not seen Nope, and hopefully by the time this comes out, you'll have seen Nope. And if you listen to this in the future, hopefully you've seen Nope. But Nope is so good. Like, I love that movie. Okay? 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Okay? I have only seen one other Jordan Peele movie, which is Get Out. I have not seen Us yet, but I saw Get Out. And Nope, although not subvertly about racism or like whatever, it is about how the lengths that we will go to as humans to get that one shot or that one moment to become like viral or to become like famous in any way. And for Nope, it is the aliens. And man, this movie is so good. I myself am a Alien fan. Okay, I love alien lore and I love alien movies. So Independence Day is one of my favorites. So I love this movie. Okay, but this movie also has to do with trauma and how we use trauma to make money, how we use trauma to do these crazy things. And just Gordy's home. Gordy. And look, I didn't know this, and maybe he based it on this because that would make sense. But apparently in like 2009 there was this incident with this monkey or chimp or whoever who was living with this family, and it was in like Connecticut or somewhere, and somehow, for some reason I'll never understand, they decided to like treat him as if he was like a family member, like an actual child, like a human. And eventually he ended up going crazy and mauling their like family friend or whatever, and mauling and like ripping her face off and like ripping her arms and or her hands and stuff off. It's the whole thing. You can look it up, but it's wild. But spoiler alert, that has a lot to do with Nope. And it's wild. It's wild. It's like super wild. But yeah, this movie has a lot of twists and turns. It's just, and I just want to say, if this has to be the movie that brings Keke Palmer to the masses, I am proud of her. Okay? That's all I really have to say, is I am proud of her. Now, let's get to the colorism issue. Now, I personally, while yes, there is a colorism issue that has to do with her and, you know, Zendaya and that whole conversation, I also think there is somebody being black famous and somebody being mainstream famous. Now, Zendaya being a biracial woman who is more on the light side, she has never really been black famous. Let's not lie. Like, she has always been mainstream famous since the beginning of her career, right? But Keke Palmer, on the other hand, just by the movies I just talked about, has worked with so many different black actors and actresses, has been in a lot of really like black movies that are just really black. Medea's a really black movie, okay? Barbershop 2 is a really black movie, okay? Alice, Brotherly Love is a really black movie. And there's just long shots, like, while everybody can watch Akeelah and the Bee, while everybody can watch these movies, they are very targeted towards black people, right? Very targeted towards black people. And so it's like, has Zendaya been in the same kind of movies as Keke to be in these very black movies where we're just watching our normal black movies and we see Keke Palmer? Has Zendaya been in those type of movies? I don't think she has. And that's the difference. While yes, skin tone totally plays a part in why Keke is getting more recognition now in 2022, is wild. But I just think it's a mainstream type of thing versus a black movie type of thing. But that's just me. I've already talked about it and I won't talk about it more. So anyways, in 2023, she's filming right now, apparently, a movie called Being Mortal. Now, let's get to her TV stuff, because I got some stuff to talk about, because some of my favorite things are her TV stuff. So, in 2004, she was in an episode of Cold Case, Strong Medicine, The Wool Cap, and ER. In 2005, she was in an episode of The Knights of the South Bronx, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, Second Time Around, and then she was in one of my favorite DComs of all time, Jump In. Okay, I'm about to rave about Jump In, so yeah, get ready. So Jump In is a 2007 Disney Channel original movie featuring her and Corbin Bleu, and it's basically about double dutch. And so basically Corbin Bleu is this boxer champion extraordinaire because his dad wants him to be a boxer, and he's Mr. Macho Boxer. And so there's this bully who like keeps trying to come to him about boxing and all this stuff, and he's like his opponent and whatever. And so Corbin Bleu's character has his little sister, and she drags him to this double dutch competition, right? And so you have Keke's character and like a few other people, and basically they're on this double dutch team. And so basically Keke's like really, really into double dutch, like high key, like crazy into double dutch. And so one of the members ends up leaving after they don't win at this competition, right? And so they're like down a fourth member and whatever, and they need a new person. So basically they ask Corbin Bleu's character to be one of their members, and he's like, nah, I can't do that. My reputation, bruh. I'm a boxer. And I'm like, okay. And so anyways, and also there's this thing between Izzy, Corbin Bleu, and Mary, Keke Palmer, like a love connection. And so anyways, so he's like making fun of them and their little double dutch stuff until he tries it out. And he ends up being really, really good at it. And so basically he ends up being a part of their double dutch team, but only until they find a new member. But then he starts to really like it, so he ends up wanting to be a part of the group. But then he kind of betrays them, not really betrays them, but like doesn't show up to one of their competitions. They get mad at him, and he's like, look, I have this father who he's so adamant about me doing this boxing thing that I can't disappoint him because my mama's dead. Which, Disney, why everybody's mama gotta be dead? We can't have full households. No? Alright. Anyways, so, Izzy and his dad have this like falling out for like 5 minutes, but then he ends up coming back into his senses only after he gets made fun of by the entire school because the bully character ends up finding out that he was doing double dutch. And somehow, if you print a picture that you took of somebody doing double dutch on pink paper, oh my gosh, it's not 2007. Oh my gosh, like it's the worst thing in the world. Anyways, so after having a conflict with his father, and after feeling bad about everything, right? He ends up squaring up with the bully and basically saying, look, I'm not fighting you no more because I'm on to bigger and better things. I got stuff to do. Deuces, deal with your ego over there. And so then he ends up going to the big competition that the Double Dutch team and Keke are doing, and he basically makes amends with them, and him and Izzy and Mary end up together, and they basically end up doing this like dope routine, and everybody lives happily ever after. The reason this is one of my favorite movies, both because it has two of my favorite people, Corbin Bleu and Keke Palmer, but also because, let's be honest, the Disney Channel didn't represent black people very well, meaning in their Disney Channel original movies, because they never really had a lot of Disney Channel original movies that featured black people. You had Up, Up, and Away, you had The Color of Friendship, and then you had Jump In, and then you had, let's see, what's another, the Proud Family movie, you had, I guess the Cheetah Girls count, I don't really know, and that's more multicultural, but still, you gotta count it because there's not that many. Yeah, the fact that I'm coming up blank. Okay, The Proof Point, you're right. Hounded, you're right. Yeah, I'm coming up real short. I'm so sorry. But that's what I mean. Like, there's not that many black DCOMs, right? With black people and black families and mostly black cast. So, because of that, Jump In is just one of those movies. And I don't know. It was the last Disney Channel movie that I watched on my own. Like, I actually wanted to watch this movie before I moved on to other things. Obviously, I would watch other movies on Disney Channel after that, but only because I was babysitting a lot with my niece and nephew, and so I'd watch whatever they were watching. But yeah, that was the very last DCOM I was like heavy, like excited about watching. Actually, High School Musical 2 might be the last one. But anyways, point is that was one of the last movies I wanted to watch on my own, like on Disney Channel, that I was like hype about. And then the all black cast, the fact that they were talking about something that is traditionally very much a black thing, Double Dutch, and it has a great soundtrack. To this day, I love that soundtrack. I was just listening to the soundtrack the other day. A lot of bops, okay, Jordan Pruitt, girl, you were giving it to us. Yes. Da 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 da. Yeah. You make me wanna jump to the rhythm and dance to the music. High key bop. You have Keke Palmer giving it to us. Okay. Yes, 2 songs on the soundtrack. And then you had, of course, Corbin Bleu, push it to the limit, right? And it's a vibe, okay? I love that movie so much. Like, I just, with my whole heart. I just really love that movie. And I don't know what else to say, but it's just so good. And if you've never seen it, you're just missing out, like, heavy. Let's move on, though, because I could talk about that all day for the rest of my life. But let's move on. So in 2007, you have Just Jordan for an episode and Tyler Perry's House of Pain. Then you have 2008 to 2011, which is True Jackson VP. From my head to my toes, and it's real, and you know, fresh and cool. That's what I do. TRUEJACKSONVP. Yes. Okay. Now, True Jackson VP was not made for me. It was made for my niece. But did I watch it? Yes. Why? Because I babysat a lot and I watched my niece. And because I watched my niece, then I ended up watching things that she watched. And so I ended up watching True Jackson VP. And I thought it was a really good show. First of all, the fact that Keke Palmer can go from making Jump In on the Disney Channel, and even before that, let's go back to Keke and Jamal. So, Keke and Jamal I did not know existed until like last year, because the video went viral of like the pilot or something, and I had no idea that existed at all. And I'm actually sort of pissed off at Disney Channel. Because what the heck, Disney Channel? Keke and Jamal could have been a really good show. Okay? I don't understand. But I do kind of understand. And here's why. And maybe I'm reaching. I don't really care. But as a person who watched Disney Channel from the Zoog Disney days up until around 2007, 2008, I know these things. Because when Disney Channel was first coming out and it just had first become a basic cable channel and it has Zoo Disney and all that stuff, it used to be kind of edgy. And it also used to be pretty black. Okay? Notice how come Disney Channel never talks about the famous Jet Jackson ever, right? They had 2 different syndicated shows that were very black. Smart Guy and Sister Sister on the channel. Okay? They had movies like The Color of Friendship, Up and Away, Hounded, Proof Point, whatever, that were pretty black. Okay? They had Proud Family. And the only reason the Proud Family is really big is because we all just really remember the Proud Family because it was a great show. But, and then eventually you'd have That's So Raven and whatever, which was great. But I'm just saying, like, okay, like, so why you not pick up Keke and Jamal because it's too black? Because, let's be honest, after High School Musical came out, y'all never really went back to the blackness, okay? The only reason that you may jump in was because Corbin Bleu was hot from High School Musical and you just wanted to give him some kind of something, right? But after that, it really became less and less black. And yes, I know that Ant Farm exists, so you can not bring that up. I know Ant Farm exists, but was Ant Farm treated with the respect that it needed? No. And was it not that great of a show? Maybe. And did I really actually watch the show to know this? No. And do we actually like China Anne McClain? Yes. And anyways, Calling All the Monsters is an incredible song. Now I'm getting off topic. But you know what I mean. Like, I'm just confused. Because Ralph Farquaad is the reason that we had the Proud Family. So I'm confused. If he made the Proud Family and that was a hit, and that was some black stuff, why can't we have Keke and Jamal? Huh? Answer me that. Moving on. So because Keke and Jamal didn't hit, then she made her little decom with Disney and she split. She was like, deuces, you ain't gonna give me no TV show? Goodbye. And so Nickelodeon was like, well, we got you, Keke. We got you, girl. And they were like, look, we're gonna make you a whole TV show based around you being a young executive, a young little VP at a fashion designer, a fashion label, and basically you're gonna be the star. And she was like, deuces, Disney, you had your chance. And she bounced on over to Nickelodeon, and it was hitting and it was good, and I was glad that she did it because she deserved to, because True Jackson VP was actually a good show. I know a lot of people think it was corny and whatever, but it was a good show, okay? I thought it was a good show, okay? Yes, it was corny. It was Nickelodeon. And if you know anything about Nickelodeon in the late 2000s, specifically, and Nickelodeon in the late 2000s was very white. Like, the 90s and early 2000s that I remember of Nickelodeon was pretty black and people of color oriented. But after a certain point, like Zoe 101 came out and they said, forget blackness. We're gonna go and jump the ship. Because let's be honest, who actually remembers Just Jordan? Nobody. I remember it because I gotta support the blackness in everything that's on TV when it comes to kids programming and other stuff, right? But I know the general population of the people do not remember Just Jordan, so am I right? But y'all remember Zoe 101 and Drake and Josh and iCarly, so yeah, that's telling. So they had to bring some blackness back up in there in some kind of way, but the difference was that although it was black because Keke was there, although it was black because she was, black, it wasn't very black. It wasn't very black at all. But it was a good the show. I mean, it was cute for what it was. And let's be honest, okay? True Jackson was the first black VP. And I said what I said, and I don't want to hear nothing else about it. Okay? Okay. But, yeah. It was just basically about her being a young VP at a fashion designer label, and the shenanigans. Her friends, the shenanigans with the people that worked there. It was just a bunch of shenanigans. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on. So, 2010, she was in the Cleveland show for an episode. 2011, she was in Degrassi. Okay, so let's talk about Degrassi. So, I don't know why, but I think because Degrassi was on Teen Nick. And Degrassi being on Teen Nick ended up, because Teen Nick is part of Nickelodeon. And so because of that, they had just ended True Jackson VP at this time. And so they still had a contract with Keke. So I guess they were like, and this is no shade towards Keke, like, at all, because I love her and I love her music. So this is no shade whatsoever. But I just want to say, they must have had a contract with her still, because why in the world? And, like, she was the featured guest that they were going to, like, a concert. They were going to, like, a Keke Palmer concert. And I was like, interesting, okay. And again, no shade, because I love her music. I just was like, Keke Palmer? Okay, interesting. Because, like, you remember the episode, like, Sav, him and Anya just broke up for the millionth time, and he's all depressed and all this stuff, right? Well, it was either Anya or Holly J. Either way, he broke up with somebody. He was all depressed and whatever. So then he ends up going to this Keke Palmer concert with his little sister. And then after he goes to the Keke Palmer concert, basically they start chatting it up. And they're like, have this relationship for like one day. And then she like dips. And it was like, okay, interesting. So yeah. Yep, that happened. Again, no shade, but just interesting, right? Anyways, moving on. So from 2011 to 2015, she was in the Winx Club as Aisha. And then in 2012, she was in Abducted, the Carolina White story, and she was in Rags, which if I don't talk about Rags, y'all are gonna come after me, because I know there's a huge fan base for Rags. Like, I understand heavy that there's a huge fan base for Rags, because apparently it's an iconic movie. So you know that guy Max? Like, he was in what's that show? That show with Lil Romeo's sister. Oh my goodness. You know the show I'm talking about too. Anyways, he was in that show, right? And so I guess that show was doing kind of okay. And so they were like, let's do this movie. And so he ended up being the dude in the movie, and she ended up being the famous person in the movie. And yeah. If you've seen Let It Shine, you basically have seen Rags. Just, yeah. Well, sort of, in ways. Not really with the whole, like, somebody else using your voice kind of thing, but in a different way. Anyways, people who love that movie. I've seen it like one time, and I have never seen it again. And again, at this point, I was like way too old to be even into any of this, so let's just remember that. Okay, great. 2013. So 90210, she was reoccurring in season 5, and then she played Chili in the Crazy Sexy Cool TLC story, and she killed it. She did Chili justice, and I'm very glad they picked her, and she was incredible. And the TLC story is like really good and incredible and all of these things, and I'm just really glad that she was able to show off her singing skills in the movie, because it's incredible, and that's an honor, to be able to play somebody as iconic as Chili from TLC. But I'm sure y'all never watch that either. I'm joking. Most of these hits I'm gonna say about certain movies or shows, I'm saying it to mostly the mainstream audience, because I know all of us black people watched a lot of this stuff, but I know a lot of y'all people in the mainstream, aka white people, probably have never seen a lot of these things, so I'm just saying. But anyways, moving on. So then you have Full Circle, and then you have Key and Peele. So I've never seen Key and Peele. Yeah, I know. But I've seen like clips and stuff on the internet. So apparently she was in she was Malia Obama's anger translator or whatever. And so I didn't really understand what they were talking about, but it keeps getting brought up during the promotion for Nope, because that's like how Keke and Jordan first met in the first place, and that's iconic. So anyways, so in 2014 she was in an episode of Family Guy, an episode of Grey's Anatomy, and then she would have her own talk show, Just Keke. Now I have a bone to pick with you, BET. I have a bone to pick with whoever created this show. Why you end it? It was so iconic. Why? Like, I remember when that show came out and I was like, oh, Keke got her own talk show? Let's go, Keke. Let's go, girl. And then I was watching the show and it was actually really good. Like, she had Brandy on there. She talked about the ending of Moesha and just how iconic Brandy is and how she looked up to her and everything. And that was really special. And she had Michael Ealy on there because, you know, Keke Palmer has like a huge crush on Michael Ealy, like huge crush. And so she had Michael Ealy on there and she was really gushing over him. And then she would just have her friends on there and they'd just be kicking it and having like real discussions about real stuff. And I was like, this is what we need in 2014, you know, whatever. We need this because there aren't that many talk shows that talk to the the older teenager 20-year-olds, you know what I mean? Because like no one ever talks to us at all about anything going on in our lives in a real way. And Keke was out here just kicking it, and I was like, we need this, and then y'all canceled it. Why y'all do that? That was mean. Okay, I liked Just Keke. It was a really good platform, and y'all ruined it by canceling it. And I'm still mad about it to this day. Okay? Bring back Just Keke. Justice for Just Keke. Anyways. And then she was in Masters of Sex for an episode. Oh. And then she was in Master of Sex reoccurring season 2. And then she was in Single Ladies for an episode and in a TV movie, The Trip to Bountiful. All right. So, 2015 to 2016, she was in Scream Queens as Zayday Williams. Okay, I really like Scream Queens. Scream Queens was hilarious. If you like murder mystery type things, if you like stuff that's like Clue, like murder mysteries, but mixed with like what are they like? Not the coming of age movies, like the Mean Girl or the Clueless or the Bring It On type movies. You will really like Scream Queens, okay? It has all these people who you never thought would act together in their life together. It has freaking Emma Roberts, okay? It has Lea Michele, Keke, obviously. It even has Niecy Nash. Like, it is a cast, baby. A cast. And it is hilarious. I might just go back and rewatch that show. That show was really good. Now, they had a season 1. And that's the season that Keke was in. And then they had a season 2. And I don't actually know if she was in the second season. I didn't watch the second season. Or maybe I watched like an episode or two. But I didn't really watch the second season. But, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis was in there too. And also John Stamos, Uncle Jesse. I know, I'm like, okay, stack the lineup. But anyways, it's a really good show, at least the first season. I'd highly recommend checking it out. Okay, and then she was in Bubble Guppies for an episode, and then in 2016 she was in Ice Age: The Great Egg Escapade. I get it. It was a TV special. And then she was in Grease Live, and she played Marty. So basically, she played Marty, and so she did an incredible job because she's basically made for the stage. Like, she did incredible stuff. Like we said, she was the first Black Cinderella on Broadway, which is something that she brought up when she talked to Brandy about being Cinderella, the first Black Cinderella in TV film. She was also Keke was also the first Black Cinderella on Broadway, and that was super legendary and iconic, and I'm so sad that I did not get to see her when she did it, but she probably killed it because she's just that talented. So yeah, she's just wow, super talented. Love it. But yeah, Grease Live was basically one of those the ones that they did the Wiz TV version, like the Wiz Live, but it was on TV, or all the other ones they did. So this was Grease Live, and Keke played Marty, and basically it's I think Marty's supposed to be Rizzo in the movie. I mean, in this version, her name is Marty, but it's Rizzo or whatever. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about though, right? Because at first I was confused why they said Marty in this version, but you know her as Rizzo in the movie. But anyways, you know the character I'm talking about. The sex kitten, the one that gets pregnant, the one that is out here with all the boys, the one who was making fun of Miss Sandra D. And she has this whole monologue in the she has this whole monologue that's her own little monologue where she just sings her heart out about this military man who she's flirting with and whatever, and sending letters back and forth. It's so good. I do recommend Grease Live. Not all of the live, Grease Live or the Wiz Live or all these things, not all of them are really that good, but Grease was pretty good. Grease had a pretty stacked lineup, and Grease was pretty good. So, recommend. And then she was in Project MC Squared for an episode. And she was in Raymond and Lane for an episode. And she was in The Real Husbands of Hollywood for an episode. She was in Berlin Station as a main character from seasons 2 to 3. And this is in 2017 to 2019. And then she was in Star. Now let's talk about Star. Star was such a good show. I am still mad to this day that they canceled that show. Again, Star had Brandy in it. Star had Keke in it. Star had Queen Latifah in it. Star had Patti LaBelle. Star had the good cast. Star had a really good cast, okay? And they ruined that I'm still mad to this day. That wedding ending, trash. The way they killed the grandma, trash. But Keke killed it. And she's performed her song Bossy on the show. And she played a recording artist, and her name was Gigi. And she was this, I don't like to say this, but hood booger around the way, but also kind of bougie type of girl, right? And so Keke basically had all these issues with her family and stuff, her aunts and everybody who were acting like a fool. And no, it's just a really good show. It's a really good show. She just kills her character out of the box. Such a good show. Still mad it got canceled, and we need more Star. Justice for Star, okay? Justice for Star. And then in 2019, she was in Robot Chicken for an episode. She was in Scream Resurrection in season 3. In 2019 to 2020, she was in Strahan, Sarah and Keke before it got canceled because of the pandemic. And then in 2020, she would do the MTV Movie Awards and host it. Then she was in Nickelodeon Unfiltered. Then she was in Singled Out as a host. And then she was in Big Mouth. And then she was in the 2020 World Series as herself. So I guess she was hosting that. And, she sang the national anthem. Never mind. And then she was in Insecure as Kira. And no, I have not finished watching Insecure. I know. One day I will. And then she was in Foodtastic as the host. Then she was in The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. Now I want to talk about that. So Keke is a millennial like us, right? And so she grew up on all the 90s sitcoms. She talks about that often. She grew up on all the 90s sitcoms. She grew up on The Proud Family. She grew up on all the stuff we liked, right? And so because of that, she just really raved a lot about how she loved The Proud Family, and she loved this and she loved that. And because Ralph Farquaad and her have a really good rapport and connection, and he was one of the reasons why she became famous in the first place, it was easy for him to give her a role on The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. And so she plays Maya Leibowitz Jenkins. And she's basically your resident fight the power type of chick. But she has two dads. So her fathers are gay. And so she has that. So they've tackled that issue on the show. And she's just a really great character. She has a brother. And I just really like Maya. She's a really good addition to the cast, and I'm really proud of who she is, and I'm glad she's on the show. And I like how she manifested being on the Proud Family reboot, because girl, yes, okay, they should have put you on the regular Proud Family back in the day. That would have worked. But anyways, yeah. And then after the Proud Family in 2022, she was in Human Resources, Not So Pretty, Legendary, which I still have not watched either, and I know I need to watch that, because I be seeing a lot of the clips that y'all be putting on the internet, and it looks like a show I would like, okay? But I just haven't seen it yet, so I do plan to watch at least season 3 when Keke's on there, because it looks fire. And basically Legendary is a ballroom competition type show, kind of like RuPaul, but not for Drag Race, obviously, but kind of in the same vein of that. So yeah, I do plan to watch that. But she's killing it on that show. She is really killing it on there and having a wonderful time, so she says. So proud of her. And then she's gonna be in this show called Password with Jimmy Fallon, and I'm not really sure what the show is about yet, but she's gonna be one of the hosts, and there's gonna be a bunch of celebrities on there. It's gonna be one of those like game shows or whatever. So kudos to you, Keke. Get your bag, girl. And then, of course, you have Keke Palmer doing Keke Palmer things. So here she is. So, on the internet, Keke is a meme. Keke is a whole meme on the internet. And I love that for Keke, because her memes are always so iconic. So the first real meme that we really like got ourselves into and like loved, and like we were all saying the words back in like 2015, 2016, 2017. We were obsessed with saying it. The gag is, we were all saying it, right? We were all saying it. And I don't even know if Keke really came up with that, or if that was like something else that she just got from like, AAVE. But either way, she made it iconic. And then she just kept saying, and the gag is, and I love it. I love it with my whole heart. I hope she keeps saying that, because I love that phrase so much, right? And then you have the meme of, sorry to this man. I don't know who this man is. He could be walking down the street. I wouldn't recognize a thing. Sorry to this man. Of the Dick Cheney thing. Hilarious. I use that every Indigenous Peoples Day when it comes to that genocidal maniac. I always use that meme. I love it. I love it so much. So good. And then you have it's your girl. That became really big on TikTok. She just has a lot of good memes. Her memes are iconic. And yeah, we love that for Keke, because she got the sayings. Also, in 2022, she came out with the official video over 15 years later, she came out with an official video for her song off of So Uncool called Bottoms Up, one of her best songs on that album. I used to love that song. Like, I still love that song. I used to love that song as a kid or as a teenager. I still love that song. Super iconic. So she decided to finally give us a music video for it, and basically a little bit of an updated remix. And it was so iconic. Oh my gosh, I love that song. Like, Keke was really giving it to us when it came to music, okay? She really is. All the time. No misses. And if y'all don't listen to Keke's music, get your life. Get your life, okay? Get your life. She's been making music since 2006. The first song she ever made was on the Akil and the Bee soundtrack. She made music for Jumpin'. She made music for that album, So Uncool. She's had so many different projects out over the years. These record labels be playing in her face. They be playing in her face. And then she can't release the music that she wants to release. And it's not okay. And so, record labels, get with the times. Keke Palmer is a hit. And y'all need to just stop playing with her. Stop playing with my good sis. Please. Right now. Stop. Okay? Great. So, anyways. So, these are the projects that she has worked on the internet. So, in 2017, she worked on That's the Gag, which I did watch. So it's basically this web show, I guess. It was on her YouTube channel. I don't know if it's still there, but it probably is. So if you want to go check it out. But it's pretty funny. It's basically like supposed to be like her playing herself, but like a fictionalized kind of like it's her, like her story, her life, but it's like fictionalized. Like there's some fictionalized parts. It's actually really funny. I'm not gonna hold you. So. And then in 2018, she was in The Good Mythical Morning. She guest starred on there from season 13, episode 38. And then in 2020, she put out Turned Up with the Taylors. And that's on Facebook, I think. And that's the one that got her an Emmy. And I'm proud of her for that. Because she played all of the roles on that. She played all the roles on that. And that is iconic. I know, it's giving very Eddie Murphy. It's giving very, very Eddie Murphy. And there was Turned Up with the Taylors. And then there's also Southern Belle Insults, which is become like, it's a book or it's an audiobook or something on Amazon or something like that. I don't know, but iconic. And then you have the VMA's 2020 advertisement, Transaction VP. What? Oh yeah, I think I do remember that. Some advertisement they did for that. And then you have 2022 Cardi Tries. And then Cardi Tries Fishing. I haven't watched that show. But apparently it's like Cardi does all these things with different celebrities. And she goes and does like regular people stuff. So she like goes to try fishing. Goes to try this. She goes to the zoo. She goes to the things. She goes to whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyways. And then she's been on the Hit Job podcast in 2021. And like I said, she was the first Black Cinderella in the Broadway version. And her only 2 albums, because she's had a lot of different projects, mixtapes and all that. So her only 2 projects that are albums are the So Uncool and Big Boss. And she's been on tour, the Footworkin' concert tour, and she was also on the Radio Disney Jingle Jam tour. Okay, I see you. And her other projects have been Awaken, Keke Palmer, and Kiana Nicole, which is her middle name. And then you have the reissued albums. You have Awaken Reloaded. And then you have the compilation albums, which are Waiting to Exhale and The Boss. And then you have these other projects that are not like albums, but they're just out here. You have Keke Palmer, Lauren, Virgo Tendencies Part 1 and Virgo Tendencies Part 2. And some of the singles that have been out here that are just like vibes are It's My Turn Now, Footworkin', And then you have Keep It Moving. Now you remember that video back in the day. It used to play on Disney Channel all the time. And it was like, we keep it moving, ayo, ayo. We keep it moving, ayo, ayo. We keep it moving, ayo, ayo. You know? You remember it. You do. It's iconic. And then you have the one you call from Awaken, The Greatest from Awaken Reloaded, Walls Come Down from Awaken Reloaded. Then you have You Got Me featuring Kevin McCall on Keke Palmer. Then you have Dance Alone, which I love that song. And then you have I Don't Belong to You. And then you have Enemies featuring Jeremiah. And you have Wind Up featuring Quavo. Then you have Bossy, Better to Have Loved, Virgo Tendencies, Got 'Em Mad, FYQ, FYG, Sticky, Thick, Snack, Dreamcatcher, Want Me to Be, Hooked, and Bottom Up 2.0. We love it. And then you have the ones that she's been featured on, which is Ride, Recipe, Try, Giants, Deep Water, and Hood Person. And then you have the promotional singles, which are Tonight, Skin Deep, We Are, Me and You Against the World, Love, Work Like You Love Me, Animal, Just Kiki, Yellow Lights, Many Things, Reverse Psychology, Pre-Game, Twerk and Flirt, Actual, Vote, Christmas. And yeah. So many good songs. And yeah, Keke's just iconic in everything that she's ever done in her life. She has won so many different awards. She has just been nominated so many times. She has won so many things. And she is just an iconic figure in all of our lives. And today I just want to give her all of her flowers because she deserves it. Because she is an iconic figure in all of our lives. Not just in mainstream culture, but in Black culture. Because we've been the ones supporting her since day one. So, Keke, I love you, and I hope that you keep winning, girl, because keep them jobs. Miss Keke, keep a job, Palmer. We love you. So, this has been Forever Flowers, signing off. Peace and blessings.